Hello, wonderful history students. Today I am going to have a short session to go over how to use our textbook to find answers. I know as the semester comes to an end and you have that pressure of turning in a lot of teacher grade assignments, sometimes you can get overwhelmed. Sometimes you don't know where to find the answer. And so I want to help you find the answer in your textbook to reduce that stress and help you to feel at ease in finding the answers and knowing that you have the right and best answer. And so in this session, how to find answers to your teacher grade assignments or even in assessments, we're going to take a look first at our World History course, which is History 07. So there's a couple of things that I want to go over first. The first thing that we want to do is we want to complete our lessons in order. And this just helps us keep track of everything. It helps us with our progress and our due dates. And you've heard your teacher say this several times, complete those lessons in order. Also, while you are completing your lessons, you want to make sure that you're taking notes. I've created note guides. You're welcome to use these. They are super helpful. And I'm actually going to show you how to use your note guides to help you find those answers. But you can take notes however you wish. We've gone over the Cornell method. We've gone over some other methods, and all of those are completely fine. Use whatever method of note taking that works best for you. But make sure that you are taking notes because that's really going to help you. It helps you not only to learn more as you're going through the lesson, but as you're going to see, it's going to help you in finding those answers when you get to that second part of the unit assessment and you're looking for those answers. Keep all of your lesson activities in order with your notes. And so those lesson activities are all of the extra little worksheets that you do. Those are going to be very helpful as well. Review your lesson assessments and take notes on those too. Make sure you've mastered all of those by the time you get to the end of the unit before you take that unit assessment, and that's going to help you on the unit assessment. So those are kind of our first steps, just reminders of what to be doing every day, doing your lessons in order, taking notes, and staying organized. Once you have done those first steps, then you are ready to take the assessment. Don't forget there are study guides, flashcards, recordings and reviews, all kinds of resources in those course materials that you can use before you take your unit assessment. All right, then we're ready for part 2 of the unit assessment. We download our part 2 assessment, our teacher grade assignment, and we get to our first question. We're ready to answer it, and we read it, and it says, write a short paragraph about the problems faced by Western Europe following the fall of the Roman Empire. Oh no, and doom sets in because I don't remember what problems Western Europe faced because of the fall of the Roman Empire. And so I get really stressed out and I don't know what to do. And so what usually happens is sometimes students feel like if they Google the answer, that maybe they can get a little bit quicker, write something down and be done. When that happens, a lot of times they're not right, they don't get any points, or they get academic integrity incident number 1 and they have to redo the assignment anyway. So I want to make sure that number 1, you know what academic integrity is, and number 2, what to do instead and where to find the answer. So let's go over first let's go over Google. So let's say that I do get really stressed out and I decide I'm going to Google this answer. And here's what I come up with. So here's my question, and I get stressed out and I Google it, and the first thing I see is this. And it's on a site that must not be named because I get a lot of answers from this site. And the first thing I see when I use this site that must not be named is something quick I just wrote down. I don't know if it's completely accurate. You know what? That statement right there is 100% accurate, that it's not completely accurate, because it does make sense and they are on the right track. However, it is not the answer that we're looking for our K-12 International Academy textbook. It says, after the fall of Rome, Western Europe went through issues involving the law, churches, and royal leaders. And here's another thing, and royalty/leaders. Why do you have it written like that? That already makes me question. And when another student has it written exactly the same way, I know where it came from. The churches were pretty much in charge of everything. If someone wanted to own land or decide on something, they would go to the priest. I've gotten this exact answer. And like I said, they're kind of on the right track, but they get down into Henry II and the Magna Carta, which we learn about these things in our textbook, but it's through the whole unit. And all I'm looking for here is the problems that Western Europe faced. So, another answer that I get, and this one's from the same site that must not be named, is, and it says it's verified by an expert. So, hey, let's use that one. And I've gotten this so many times. The fall of the Roman Empire had a major impact on Western Europe. It resulted to the loss of technological and economic progress. This is true, but what technological and economic progress? You didn't tell me. So I would mark that incorrect because you didn't tell me what the problems were. You said it led to a loss of these things, but you didn't tell me what they were. So, to avoid all of this, we can find the answer in our textbook, an accurate answer, much more quickly if we just follow these steps. So let's go over them. So here's a quick overview of all of the resources that you have with your textbook. Use the book. But guess what? This is a big book, and I don't know where to turn in the book. So here are some things to help you. Use your glossary and index. This can help you clue you into where to turn in the book. If that's too much, sometimes it lists a bunch of pages. Use the note guides. I'm going to show you how to use those, and use the student guides. These will help you to locate the exact answer that you need, and it will be very easy. So let me show you how. So this is a big book, and I'm like, I don't know where to turn to. And so use some of your keywords, right? So number one, we're going to use our book. And within that is your best resource for any question. But within that, we can use the glossary if we need to define a term, or I'm going to put in our index, okay? That index is going to be super helpful to locate page numbers. So in this problem that we had, one of the keywords might have been either Western Europe or Roman Empire. And so I'm going to look that up in my index, and I'm going to see what pages it tells me to go to. So here is my index. I'm going to go to Western Europe. Okay. And I see here it says Western Europe, but it lists, and I know you can't see that, but it lists 503, 597, 602, 603, 611, 448. So we've got quite a few page numbers. So this can help. I can turn over to those pages. Maybe I have notes taken or things highlighted from when I did the lesson. But let's say I want to narrow it down a little bit more. So my index, while it helped, I want to narrow it down a little bit more. So the next thing that I would go to narrow down where in my book to turn to are the note guides, okay? So I'm going to ask you to print those note guides out and use those. Take notes. You may find the answer right in that note guide, or you may find where in your book to turn. So let's do that now. Let's open up. We're in Unit 12 right now. Let's open up our note guide and see how do we use that as a resource to find answers in our book. So let's say that I just now realized how important those note guides are, because Miss Perry just told me, and I don't have them printed out for Unit 12, and I'm working on that teacher grade assignment. What do I do now? Well, you can go print them out right now, and they're still going to be helpful. So I'm in my history course, and I'm going to go to those course materials, and I am going to get my note guide. So, for Unit 12. So, have to be patient with my computer. All right, here we go. And I see, oh, look what I see. I see note guides by unit. I'm going to click on that. It's going to take me to all of the note guides. So, whatever unit you're working on, go ahead and print that note guide out. When you start a unit, open up the note guide and take notes. But I'm going to open up my Unit 12 note guide, if my computer will cooperate. Okay, it's right here. And for your ease of finding things, I have started putting in page number. So all of Unit 12 is on pages 502 to 569. And I've even started putting page numbers on lessons when I can. So you might see some of those. But I'm going to start reading. These are the objectives. These are the main points that I need to learn in each lesson. So that's the thing that I need to take notes on. I'm going to start reading. And the first one that I read is explain major cultural and civil consequences of the collapse of Roman civilization. I was just talking about the fall of the Roman Empire. This might be the same thing. So I've already determined that, hey, Unit 12, Lesson 1, that might be where I go. All right. So using our notes guide, we've determined what lesson to go to. Okay. So we've determined that we're going, what lesson? And it was Unit 12, Lesson 1. So I'm going to go there and I'm going to see what I can find. So I'm back in my class. I'm going to go to Unit 12, Lesson 1. Now, because we're in the very first lesson of the unit, there's going to be a unit introduction. And that may have some good information. But the student guide is always the lesson introduction. Usually the first side in the lesson, except for when we're in Lesson 1. So we're going to go to that lesson introduction. And it could very well help you to read this. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the lesson resources. And I am going to open up the student guide. Now, sometimes the student guide will have the page numbers that we need. Sometimes it won't. In this case, it doesn't tell me the page numbers in the student guide, but I see something even better. Do you see it? I see consequences of the fall of Rome. Isn't that what I'm supposed to be answering? So I did an activity in this lesson. And so I could go to my activities. Hopefully I've kept those organized, right? And I've got them listed right here. And I can answer the question accurately and using my textbook. Okay? So I'm going to open that up. And when I open up that activity, here's the answers that I have. And guess what? These are all problems that Western Europe faced as a result of the fall of the Roman Empire. Does anywhere in there say anything about the leaders being churches and having to go to them to get land, like the site that must not be named? No, it does not. So these are my answers, right? I'm going to put that in paragraph form because it said write a short paragraph, and I'm going to be golden. Here's one last tip, and that is under course materials. Not only will you find those note guides, but you're also going to find teacher-graded assignment rubrics. And so this just goes over, if you ever have a question about, did I answer this question? Did I write enough? Did I answer it like I should have? This rubrics will help you determine, and we've had sessions on how to break down the question and answer it. But this rubric will help you determine if you've answered the question. You see, page 2 is actions and format. And so that's what we want to use. So here you can see what I am looking for when I see describe, explain, prove, disagree, list. When it asks for a short paragraph, what am I looking for? A short essay, an essay. What's the length that I'm looking for? And this tells you exactly what I'm looking for. So you can use that as well. So here's a quick review, and you can use this on any teacher grade assignment question, not just this one, to find the answers in your book. Use that notes guide to determine what lesson you might need to go to. That may tell you the exact page number. It may tell you an activity, but you'll have an activity and or a page number to go to in the book to get your answer. It will be a much more accurate answer, and you know you're right on track. If you have any questions at all, I'm happy to answer those. Never be afraid to ask for help. I'm here to help guide you and teach you how to become an independent learner. And this is the first step to becoming an independent learner. So go tackle those teacher grade assignments. And if you have questions, let me know.